According to a report titled Student Loan Debt by Age on the website educationdata.org, retrieved on 28th April 2021, we know that 17.3 million people under the age of 30 possess some sort of student loan debt. And while yes, most of these people are in fact millennials, it is feasible to assume that there is a new wave of Gen Z debtors on the way. Today, I will be persuading you to avoid putting yourself into a massive amount of student debt while pursuing your degree for higher education. I will be doing so based on my experience and my thorough research that I have conducted. In persuading you to avoid going into massive debt, I will discuss the following: the problem with student loans, the cause of student loans, and the solution to help you avoid large amounts of student debt. First, the problem with student debt is that it will affect future higher education seekers, specifically those who belong to the Gen Z generation. Large payments towards student loans can disrupt larger life goals in life. According to the American Student Assistance Survey, the Life Delayed, the Impact of Student Debt on the Daily Lives of Young Americans, published on the 17th of December 2015, student loans have a huge shift in future spending. In their survey, they reported that 52% struggle to make large purchases in the future, such as a car or a down payment on a house. In addition to that, 62% had to put off saving for retirement or for these future life goals. We do not want that to happen to you. We want you to be able to buy whatever you want in the future, no matter what your goals may be. With many students with student loan debt choosing to pay off that debt instead of focusing on higher education, it is halting their future. These student loan debts are a burden. It is not fair that many have a giant burden on them that follows them a majority of their life. We should try to lower that so you can have a more prosperous future. Now that I talk about the problem with student loans, I will now talk about the causes. Second, student debt has largely risen due to the part of rising costs of higher education. As we all know, education, especially at colleges and universities, is not particularly cheap as it has been in prior years. According to the Mackinac Center of Public Policy article titled "The Student Debt Problem is Widely Misunderstood," here are some solutions, published by Jarrett Scorp on the 24th of August 2019. The rise in tuition costs can be attributed to two factors: a massive increase in government spending, mostly as grants, loans, and subsidy directions, and the increased demand for colleges and universities. First, let's talk about the former. Rising cost of college. It is no secret that college tuition prices have increased. You may have seen it yourself. According to a College Choice article titled "The Rising Cost of College," published on the 27th of April 2021, college tuition has increased tremendously over the years, the overall cost increasing 500% since 1982. When you factor public universities, private universities, college universities, averaging all of that is around $50 grand a year. So from a $10,000 base point in 1982, we can see that it is in fact 500%, and this is not just a false statistic. Keep in mind that this statistic does include the cost of private education, so while us here at Cal State may not see exactly that large of a percentage, or at least numerically wise, the percentage may in fact be that same. And with this rising tuition, students feel that they need to take loans from an outside source to cover their tuition entirely. And additionally, in recent years, we have seen an increase in demand for higher education. You may have read in the news that more and more people are applying for higher education. And that's a good thing. However, with that comes some unintentional consequences. Despite the recent struggles for high school grads during the COVID-19 pandemic, university applications have seen a recent surge. According to Michael Burke, in his EdSource article titled "Why the University of California is Seeing a Massive Surge in College Freshman Applications," published the 11th of February 2021, UC campuses saw a recent surge in applications, seeing 32,000 more applicants than just a year ago. Now, this may not seem like a lot, but it is in fact a bunch considering that over 200,000 applicants applied last year. So now over 240,000 applicants have applied to these UC schools. And as we all know, not everyone can make it. UCs have a certain amount of capacity. Well, because of this, the increasing number of high schoolers seeking higher education fit this tough market. So the colleges need to try to encourage people to join their colleges, which means better facilities, better professors, better equipment. And to do so, their costs are going to rise, and they pass those costs on to us, the student. So we see all of these factors raising the cost of college tuition, and students seem to go to student loans to try to fix this. I don't think you should do that. There are many other ways. And having talked about these problems and causes of student debt, I will now talk to you about the solution to get out of it. Now finally, in order to avoid taking out massive amount of student loans debt, students should consider alternative options to paying for college, and they should be more informed on what in fact they do need to pay in college. So student loans are not the only option for paying for college, as we may know. It is not wise, and I do not suggest putting your entire tuition and room and board and fees all on student loans. That is not a very wise decision. There are many other ways to pay for student loans, or to pay for college without using student loans. According to the University of the People article, How to Avoid Student Loan Debt, retrieved on the 29th of April 2021, some ways to avoid taking out student loan debt are to start working and saving, apply for scholarships, or apply for federal aid. Applying for a Cal Grant may be good. You may be eligible for that. That can save you upwards of, heck, it may even pay for the entire thing if you get one of the higher Cal Grants, like an A or B. Or for scholarships. I know Cal State University San Bernardino offers a lot of scholarships, but you can also go look for some secondary scholarships from other websites. I know scholarships.com has a bunch of scholarships just eager to give out. And you can also work and save. While it may not be the most ideal situation, getting a part-time job may in fact help you avoid taking those massive amounts of student debt. Even if it's just a small part-time job, you don't even have to do it during school. Have a part-time job during the summer. You don't do school then. You can take that money, save, apply to college, and then focus on school full-time. These are just some solutions to avoid taking out those massive amounts of student loan debt. So I'm going to try to help you budget your thing, because I've seen that most college students are actually unprepared to make a budget for their college spending. They think that they must put all of their fees and tuition budgets on a college student loan, but I will now help you guide through this. So right now, here we have a CSUSB undergraduate resident student tuition and fees, which most of us should be, or are. So according to the data from this CSUSB webpage titled Academic Year 2020-2021, retrieved on the 30th of April 2021, the total undergraduate resident tuition and fees we can expect to see is $3,483.43. So for purposes of this discussion, I'm going to round that up to $3,500. So which is closer to what you see in fall. That's about $3,500. So $3,500 is going to be our base. So if you've been listening to this presentation, we know that, say you receive $1,250 from the government, from a Cal Grant, and then you can receive $1,250 from scholarships. That means you need to make up another $1,000, and you can use that from saving or work, or you can put maybe half of that from savings and half of that from a student loan. So that way, instead of having to put this entire $3,500 per semester, which would equal about $28,000 a year, you only have about $4,000 on your student loan debt. And that is much more manageable than $28,000. Or maybe you get more loans or more scholarships or more help from the government. That's even better. That puts less of the burden on you and more of the burden on third-party sources, which will help you prepare for your future. So in conclusion, I have taught you how to reduce your student loan debt levels in order to help you spend and save in the future. In this presentation, I discussed the problems, cause, and solution to massive student debt. I truly hope each and every one of you learns to manage your college loan debt so you can be more prosperous in the future. I want you to succeed. I don't want you to be held back by your student loans if you want to have any future purchases or future achievements. The Best Schools article, The Risk of Student Loans, What to Know Before Going Into Debt, published 19th of March 2021, informs us that the way to minimize risk is to do our homework. If we are wiser in what we actually need to spend during college, then we will be more knowledgeable about how to deal with student loans. Again, I would like to reiterate that student loans are not entirely bad. If you need a student loan, go ahead, take out a student loan. That's not bad. I am merely asking that you avoid taking out thousands and thousands of dollars in student loans every single year. That is not wise, and I would think a bunch of professors or guidance counselors would recommend against that. So, please, be wise on what you need. If you need these loans, take them. But look from other places first. Look to see if you can save. See what the government will give you. See what scholarships will get you. Just make sure that you minimize your student loan debt. It is the wise thing to do. Thank you.